Okay, here's a video I have today where we're going to explain how to use the cable-seated row exercises. Well, in this case we're doing it standing up, but I'm going to really explain the role of the arms and how the scapula should be moving in its optimal way when doing this exercise. This is a great exercise, a very important one for building the correct strength into the upper back region, but if you overdo it or have too much weight on there or just don't understand the mechanics of the shoulder, you can really do a lot of trouble with this one. So Ali here is going to demonstrate a few reps of like a poor form, and we're going to walk you through what I'm looking at so you can avoid the problems. All right, so firstly, a standing exercise is better than a seated one, just because you're integrating legs. And in here, there's a couple of things going wrong with that. Firstly, I'll show you the first part is the elbow is going to be too, she's almost doing it too good. You'll see the elbows here, like really pinching together, and she's really aware of trying to build the strength into her middle traps and rhomboids and all that, and she's really squeezing hard, like really trying. This is where the cue really squeeze between there is not a good thing to do, because you can really overdevelop it, which what that does is, if you've ever seen our other videos, the scapula now will be placed like this because she's pulled them so hard on the inside, where really they need to have their optimal positioning, and this arm position is there. So when her arms move forward, the scapula will sort of move out and around like that. If these guys get too strong and don't let the scapula move, that's when you start to see lots of dysfunction around the shoulder. Now that's the first thing that's wrong with it. The second part of that's wrong with it is you'll be able to see it better from the side on. Actually, one more thing that you can see better on this angle, how close her elbows are. So when we see the better technique in a minute, you'll see her elbows will be wider apart. So you should always see a bit of daylight between her trunk and her arm. All right, so now let's have a look at the side on part, because there's another part of this that we also see, and this is where the person who doesn't get enough thoracic extension, so they're pretty much in a hunched posture, we'll start to see the elbows diving back too far. So there's her body, right, and there's her elbow. The elbow shouldn't really go past the body there, because when it does, it pushes the front of the shoulder too far forward, and that's when you start creating too much stretch through this capsule, and you start over creating problems through there. So in her case, she's overextending her thoracic to try and counter this. Quite often we'll see no thoracic so a hunched position and the shoulder really being diving forward. That's what you would see with dips, as an example. Right, so she's got two things going on there: too much extension, and also the elbows diving back too much. So I think she does one more. I think we move into the good ones now. So yeah, a little bit. She's trying to sort of correct it there. So we'll see her do another one, and you'll see where she's trying to wiggle her shoulders out, because she was getting a sore shoulder doing this. Now you'll see she's starting to restrict the elbows going back, not excessively creating too much extension, and it's just a lot more relaxed. All right, so see how that's a lot more relaxed? That's about where her arm should finish, no more than there. See how she's not forcing anything? She's building the strength relative. So when we see her do it from behind, I think I might get it from behind. Yeah, and you'll see her elbows are already starting to get a bit wider, and see how it looks a lot more effortless. There's no forcing of anything. And the important part is now she's going to be getting strength in her external rotators as much as her. So the external rotators are the small guys: posterior rotator cuff, posterior deltoid. All these little small guys don't really have a lot of power. They're going to be involved when the arm's out here, but when it's pinched in, they don't really get used much at all, and you overuse them. If you go too wide, you don't get enough there either. So you see what I mean? Like, you have to be very careful on these about where it needs to be. So it's usually you could fit like a fist in between your elbow and your rib cage there, so to speak, and you'll still get like the pinch a little bit of a pinch at the end, but not excessively, and not too much extension in your rib cage. All right, so that's the correct pulling action that you want to generate. Again, use your standing exercises better. Single arm ones are even better than double. Bent over row I probably prefer to the cables at times. Comes with different complications though, but this is a good video if you've got problems with your shoulder. This is a great way to learn how to get some strength into the rotator cuff, as well as the rhomboids and the middle traps, lower traps, which are all important muscles in developing the function of that scapula. So like I was saying before, it's got to move out and around to have its correct function. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed that video, and we'll see you on our next one.